What's going on, y'all? It's your man, Stephen Bardo, coming at you with another edition of Bardo's Breakdown. We're getting into that time of the season, y'all, where every game is going to matter for the tournament resume, right? And I can start talking about seedings and net rankings and resumes and strength of schedule and all that because I don't like to do it too early. I probably waited a little bit late, but I'll answer your guys' questions, all of you, your questions about the net, about the strength of schedule, what the tournament resumes look like, because we can look them up. And I wanted to come on a little bit early today because I've got a commitment after 5:30. So I wanted to come on a little bit early so that we can have a spirited conversation and then I can still do what I need to do. Thanks for tuning in to Bardo's Breakdown. Let me get the pay the bills first. Look, I've got a free guide. It's free, y'all. It's free money. It's called Triple Threat, Stephen Bardo's Guide to Basketball Terminology. You can go to bardostribe.com. That's BARDOS tribe.com. You'll see a pop-up window come up. Simply put your email in. I'll send you the PDF of the basketball terminology guide. I think you guys will enjoy it. It's a little bit of hip-hop and jazz that I use on air to describe basketball and some of the plays and different things like that. So I think you guys get a kick out of it. It's free, y'all, so make sure you go check that out at bardostribe.com. All right, let's get into it. Big Ten Player of the Week. It's Zach's world, y'all. Zach Edey is putting up video game-like numbers, and I don't know that we're covering him enough. I don't know that we're talking about his dominant performance enough. He's going to be the first back-to-back college player of the year since Ralph Sampson. Guys, you know how long ago that was? Ralph Sampson played well before I did in college. So we're talking back in late 70s, early 80s. He's going to be the first player in college to do that since then. So it's Zach Edey's world, and we're just living in it. Big Ten Player of the Week, 30 points per game, 11 rebounds per game. Ladies and gentlemen, he's averaging 25 and 11 in Big Ten play. It's not non-conference. This is Big Ten play. He's averaging 25 and 11. That's dominance. So I tip my hat once again to Zach Edey. You guys hear me say this every week. We are not giving him enough love. We are not. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's his, he's become more demonstrative. He's become, he's letting his personality out a little bit, but he's a guy that just goes about his work. He never gets hurt. He doesn't seem to get tired anymore. He stays out of foul trouble. He's passing the basketball at a high level. His skill set he keeps improving. I saw a mock draft where he was the last pick of the first round, and I'm so glad to see that because this guy has a place in the NBA. I was scratching my head last year to figure it out, but now the way that this young man, every single year he's been in the game, he's gotten leaps and bounds better. There's a place in the NBA for Zach Edey. There's no doubt in my mind. Where that is, I don't know. What exactly that looks like, I'm not sure. But he's too tall, he's too big, he's too skilled, and he's too damn competitive to not have a spot in the NBA. So big ups to Zach Edey for once again. I believe he got a record 11th Big Ten Player of the Week. And it's well deserved because the big fella has been the most consistent player in college basketball all season. I don't even think it's close. Big Ten Freshman of the Week, Mackenzie Mbako, Indiana again. This is his, let me make sure. This is Mackenzie's, hold on, I got to go down the list. He got it in January 2nd. So this is his second. This is his second Big Ten Freshman of the Week. Congratulations to Mackenzie, averaging almost 15 points a game and 4.5 rebounds in those two losses. His team's not doing very well, but Mackenzie starting to show some of the promise that allowed him to have such a high ranking coming out of high school. So congratulations to Mackenzie for his second Big Ten Freshman of the Week and for Zach Edey's 11th Big Ten Player of the Week. Both very well deserved. All right, I'm going to get into the Fighting Illini deep dive just off the bat because I don't want this Penn State loss to get too far away from us as the Illini rebounded yesterday in a nice win home win against a surging Iowa team. So, guys, I don't know that I've ever called a game where with a minute left, I'm still alert because I'm always alert whenever the game is on, the game is in play, I'm alert. But there was a little bit of relaxation between me and Jason Horowitz, my play-by-play partner, for that game at Penn State in Rec Hall. The crowd had died down. Illinois seemed to have control of the game. And then you've got a guy in Coleman Hawkins that's stepping to the free throw line. He has a chance to put him up 9. He misses both free throws. And then the collapse happens. It was so fast. Terrence Shannon tries to split a double team underneath his own bucket, which is a cardinal rule. You don't do that. Got stripped, layup. Come down. Coleman Hawkins fouls Hicks on a 3. He has three free throws. And then Harmon had a layup to win the game. He missed the layup. He had a layup. I don't care what y'all say. That was a 3-foot layup, and he missed it. One of the wildest finishes I've ever been a part of, I've ever seen, ever called. Big ups to Penn State. They rallied. That place got loud. Rec Hall holds just shy of 8,000, I believe, 7,500, something like that. Really nice venue. The architect that built the Palestra in Philadelphia built this Rec Hall at Penn State as well. So it's a really intimate setting, and Penn State utilized it to get a big quad 1 win. But it was disturbing the way that the Illini folded down the stretch. Here's the thing that gets me. The sheer lack of confidence when handling pressure is baffling to me. These guys are upperclassmen, right? Even if you don't have a dedicated point guard on the floor, Terrence Shannon, Coleman Hawkins, Marcus Domask, and Quincy Guerrier, these dudes are like, they got their AARP cards. They've been in college so long. These guys got senior citizen status, man, and they can't figure out how to handle pressure. And here's the problem that I have. Nobody runs to the basketball like they want it. They just kind of, they make their first cut, and if they're denied, they just kind of stand there. And they look back and look at one of their teammates to see if they're going to cut. I don't get that. I don't know if that's a Brad Underwood thing. I don't know if it's this version of the Illinois team that has brain farts. I don't know what it is, but it's almost like they forget how to play the game when they get pressured. It's baffling to me. And that's why you saw Moretti in the Iowa game yesterday, the Iowa game, playing big minutes and playing well. I thought he played very, very well. But that lack of confidence in and of itself, ladies and gentlemen, makes me think that Moretti has to be on the floor. I'm sorry. You can't. I mean, because he doesn't have confidence in Ty Rodgers. I don't understand why not. Because the way that these guys crap down their leg against Penn State, and these supposedly good free throw shooters missing free throws, let Ty Rodgers be in the game. At least he'll be an aggressive ball handler. If he gets fouled and he hits 1 or 2, okay, I'm good with that. He can't go up and brick 2, but if he can get 1 or 2, I'm okay with that. You don't come up with empty trips. But either keep Ty Rodgers on the floor or keep Moretti on the floor. But you've got to have somebody that wants the basketball in these situations against pressure, because that's not going to be the last time Illinois sees that. It's not. They're going to see that in the tournament. I don't care who they play. They're going to see it. Coleman Hawkins at the end of the game. Now, you guys, I go to shoot-arounds all the time. I'm around Big Ten coaches all the time. And I'm not going to name names, but there were a few of them that asked me, why does Coleman Hawkins need to troll and need to talk as much as he does? Because they thought that Penn State ending was karma. Think about it. Coleman misses 2 free throws to basically seal the game. 2, not 1. He missed 2. Then he was off balance because as Mike LaTulip, and I'm going to tell you guys, go check out in the next, but Mike LaTulip pointed out it may have been a situation where Jameel Brown kicked Coleman in the foot or the heel on that exchange, because Jameel Brown was coming off and he gave it back to Hicks, and he kind of, I don't know what happened. May have been inadvertent. Maybe he tried it, but his foot hit the back of Coleman's foot, kind of knocking him off balance, and he tries to go challenge Hicks on the three and runs into him and fouls him. And some people think that might be karma. Now, supposedly Coleman put the phone away and he had 30 against Iowa. So we'll see if that trend continues. But it was interesting that other people around the league had something to say about that, and they thought that might have been karma, which I thought was very interesting because I didn't look at it like that. Here's something I want you guys to check out, because I know you all are basketball purists and you really love the game. Go to the Illini Inquirer on YouTube if you're not already following. Jeremy Werner does an excellent job. He brings Mike LaTulip on a consistent basis, and Mike did a film breakdown of the defensive woes of Illinois, and I almost wish I didn't see it. I'm glad I saw it, because it gave me a great information. Because guys, when I'm calling the game, I'm watching so much stuff, and my attention is spread so thin that I can't hone in on those little details. I missed some of that stuff. But when I went back and watched the film breakdown, oh my gosh, it was alarming, because I've watched a ton of Brad Underwood's practices in the preseason, in the non-conference, in the conference. I've seen the Illini. I've been around Brad ever since he's been the coach at Illinois. I've seen his practices. He doesn't have indecision about what he wants to do on the defensive end. But the players, some of the blown defensive assignments, and if you go back and watch that, I probably should have posted the link, but just look up Illini Inquirer on YouTube, and you'll come to Jeremy Werner's page. Go to the one where Mike LaTulip was doing a defensive breakdown of the Illini woes down the stretch against Penn State, and it's very revealing. It's a little scary, to be honest, because if these guys are in February and they don't know the calls, or they're not talking enough, their season might short circuit, because defensively they've not been good. The Illini have not been good in Big Ten play defensively. They've been great offensively, but defensively they've not been good. And so, we'll see if they can shore those things up. But make sure you go check that out, because it was really good breakdown. After watching the Illini beat Iowa, there were some things that I really liked. Moretti being the main one. Nicolo had great shot selection. He got the ball to his teammates. He advanced the ball with pace on offense. This is what gets the Illini, and I'm talking about their offense now. They're top 5 they might even be better than that. I think, let me see what Ken Palm has them at now in terms of offensive efficiency, but they were top 5 or 6 there not long ago. Hold on, let me sign in here. Illinois is number 4 in the country to date, offensive efficiency, 124 points per 100 possessions. So offensively, they're a juggernaut. However, I do like when I see teams not on a fast break situation. See, I'm going to see if I can verbalize this for you. I'm going to take you back. Think of your favorite team. After the opponent scores on them, they're bringing the ball up the floor. With the Illini, the opponents score on them and they don't have Nicolo Moretti or Ty Rodgers in the game, they kind of just, kind of bring the ball up, kind of methodical. Then they kind of probe and see where they want the matchup. They go do the ball screen action. They do the zoom action to try to get the mismatch that they want. And then they go into their one-on-one and they try to play out of it. Well, I like teams, make or miss. They're pushing the ball up. Get pace in your offense. Get a little bit of pace, because when you start your offense with pace, the defense is on their heels. when you come up methodically, the defense is set. They're ready. They're pensive. They're getting ready to pounce. But when you're coming up with speed, they gotta they kind of gotta take a step back a little bit. Moretti does that. Ty Rodgers does that. That's why one of those two, in my opinion, need to be on the floor most of the time. Because although they may not be great scorers like some of their teammates, it's not going to hurt this Illini team that's number 4 in the country offensive efficiency. It's not going to hurt the Illini by taking one of their scorers off the floor at times. I'm not saying do it all the time, but I think out of 40-minute game, Ty Rodgers or Nicolo Moretti need to be on the floor at least 35 minutes of that game. That's just my opinion, because I like the way that the offense flows better. You've got another guy that's in there that's not really, they can score, but they're not trying to score necessarily first thought. They're trying to keep the ball moving. And that'll make the offense hum even more, in my opinion. I also think Dane Danger needs to play more. He missed a lot of close shots, but you're getting higher quality looks. The Illini were shooting, in my opinion, they shot way too many threes against Iowa. I know Brad likes that. So they're doing what their coach wants them to do. But for me, I'm taking the Big Ten Network, Fox, and NBC analyst hat on. I'm putting on this right now. Dane Danger gives Illinois some nice offensive balance, and he puts pressure on the front line. He made some really good moves. He just didn't finish. But do you expect Dane to finish when he averages less than 10 minutes per game? It's kind of hard to get your rhythm when you don't have a lot of game time. And then when you're thrown in there in the second half because Brad is ticked off at the starters, I thought he played well. He missed 3 shots that he probably should have made, but he was in there. He was active. He was aggressive. He had a block or two. I don't think that he got the ball ripped like he does once a game, but to me, his offense overshadows his defense. And hell, he ain't the worst defender on that team. Trust me. So I think Dane needs to be playing a little bit more too, but I've been saying this from day one. We'll see if that happens. You know what? Let's talk about these two things before we get the games to watch. All right, that's it. That's my deep dive on the Illini. Ooh, I got some comments, so I'll be ready for you. Let me get through these first. The court storming. I miss. It's Kyle Filipowski, not Philip. Hold on. Let me change that. All right. I think I got this right now. Kyle Filipowski from Duke gets injured in the court storming. If you guys haven't seen it, you must have been on vacation without Wi-Fi or something, because I knew they would. I knew it. When it happens to a Duke player and a Duke star, it's going to get done. It's going to change, because Caitlin Clark got caught in a court storming. Caitlin Clark has brought more money to college basketball than the Duke program has this season. I'm just saying. And Caitlin Clark got blasted. She got hit. Kyle Filipowski got his knee hit, which is serious. I'm not saying it's not serious. Caitlin got hit and she spun to the floor, and they showed it for a couple days. Then they didn't show it again. There was no call for the court storming needs to stop. They talked about it, but not until a Duke player and a Duke star gets hit. As soon as I saw it, I was like, "Oh, this getting changed." Not the moneymaker, not Caitlin Clark, the one that networks are changing schedules for and showing different games and bringing Gus Johnson on the game because it's a huge game and the ratings and the numbers. Caitlin Clark is the cash cow, y'all, this year. Guys that don't like women's basketball may disagree with me, but I'm just telling you, Caitlin Clark is the cash cow in college basketball. She's the most valuable. She's the most valuable in terms of monetary. If we're talking money, she's the most valuable player in college basketball. And you notice how that talk just kind of faded to black. But Kyle Filipowski, shoot, First Take's talking about it. Jay Billis is coming on First Take to debate Stephen A about it. Oh, it's gonna get changed. It's funny that certain programs, when things happen, then the rules change. But Caitlin Clark gets hit, and we talk about it for a day or two, and then just goes away. Interesting, right? Another thing, you guys have heard me. If you've been on Bardo's Breakdown at all, you know I've been talking about this. We have yet another brawl, but we don't talk about this. It doesn't get put on First Take. We don't talk about on First Things First. All the talk shows, I didn't hear anybody talking about this. Texas A&M Commerce versus Incarnate Word last week, y'all, had a brawl. I mean, this thing, because of the handshake line, it's going okay at first. It's okay at first. And then somebody's heated. That was heated against somebody on the other team, and they see each other. There's words exchanged, and then all hell breaks loose. When are we going to get rid of this? These old narratives, ladies and gentlemen, that we carry in this country are detrimental. They're detrimental. Trying to make people have sportsmanship. You're trying to make young people have sportsmanship when mostly adults don't. The people who are making the rules have never bled, spit, had snot knocked out of your nose, got hit in the face, somebody pulling on your jersey, stepping on your foot, elbowing you in the ribs, you're sweaty, you're tired, you're agitated because you may have lost. And a guy that gave you a cheap shot, you're supposed to go shake his hand? It's outdated, ladies and gentlemen. It really, really is. I don't know. I don't like to call people idiots because I think God doesn't make mistakes, and every human being on this planet is a result of God's work. So I don't like to call humans idiots. So I won't call them idiots. I will say that whoever is in the room making the decisions on these rules in college basketball, bring some people that have played the game before. Because anybody that's played the game would not advocate having to go shake the hand of somebody you've been trying to kick their ass for the last 2 hours. There's cognitive dissonance there. The people who are making the rules are worried about how the freaking game looks. Don't nobody care about a handshake line. Nobody else does it. Who else does a handshake line, guys? Does anybody in the professional league do it? Football does it voluntarily because they know those guys know each other. Let basketball do it voluntarily. They'll do it. Guys who are on opposing teams that are cool with one another, cool. They'll go embrace each other. If the coaches want to say something or they do this, you'll see NBA guys. A coach will be coming off the floor. He'll do this because he's waving at either the opposing coach or somebody that he knows, or they'll go up and embrace or whatever. Let it be voluntary, but don't force guys in a handshake line, guys. Not college kids. They're 18 and 22 years old. They're trying to please their coach. They're trying to win for their team. They're trying to beat the crap out of their opponent. And now you got to go shake their hand. You guys been at work and you get a bad review, or a coworker stabs you in the back and you're supposed to go shake hands with them? No, man, it doesn't work. They need to abolish it. Just doesn't work. We've had yet another brawl, and they're going to blame it. I already know the narrative. Oh, these particular players that started the brawl just, they don't have any character. BS. That's garbage. You can't judge somebody that in a situation like that you've not been in. It's too highly contested to try to make these guys come back and shake hands. We're past it. We need to get rid of it. It doesn't serve anything except some BS image that, there's sportsmanship, and get out of here with that mess. It's garbage, hot garbage. All right, games to watch this week. Penn State at Iowa is going to be interesting because Penn State is a team that really no one wants to see right now. Iowa's in that too because Iowa's playing well, but Penn State is the way that they play, and they're starting to really get it now. Like, it took a while for some of those guys to really understand what Mike Rhodes was asking of them. So Penn State at Iowa. Iowa is in the conversation. The next four out, I believe, after losing at Illinois. They're still in the tournament at large tournament conversation. This is a big game. Penn State coming in with house money at Iowa tomorrow, 8 o'clock BTN. Wednesday, another big game for Minnesota. Minnesota's non-conference schedule is not good. We know why. Ben Johnson had a new roster. He was trying to get them ready. It got them ready. Minnesota, if they could get this quad one victory, all of a sudden they start to get in the conversation. So it's a big, big game, especially with the way that Minnesota didn't show very well at Nebraska. They got kind of pasted in Nebraska. They need either a better showing or a win in order for people to start to pay attention, to start putting them into at-large conversation. Right now they're not in it, but if they go to Illinois and win that game, that would be big. And Illinois needs to get yet another Big Ten opponent that they can try to shore up some of their defensive woes. All right. You give up 85 points to Iowa, I'm okay with that because Iowa's the highest scoring team in the Big Ten Conference. Minnesota's about middle of the pack in terms of offensive output per game. Let's see how the Illini do with that. Kevin Kugler, me, and Andy Katz will be on the call 6 p.m. Wednesday, Big Ten Network, Minnesota, Illinois. Saturday, Illinois at Wisconsin, noon on BTN. That's a big game for obvious reasons. Both of these teams are trying to stay within striking distance of Purdue, two of the top teams in the Big Ten. Great late season, regular season matchup. That's going to be a fun one. I don't know who's on the game, but I can guess that Robbie Hummel will be because that's just, he gets a lot of bigger games. So that'll probably be Robbie on that one. And I'd be surprised if Robbie's not on the well, it can't be because it's the same day. But if they thought they could get away with it, they would probably try. Michigan State at Purdue, Fox. That would either be Gus Johnson and Jimmy Jackson, or it would be Benetti and Bill Raftery, if I had to guess. But Michigan State at Purdue. Michigan State lost 2 last week, lost to Iowa and lost to Ohio State at home. Dale Bonner hits a 3 last second to win. And guys, I don't know, man. Tom Izzo did not look good in the post-game press conference yesterday. He did not look good. And this team is really, really challenging for him. He's gonna probably do some soul searching after this season. It's a baffling situation, guys. I don't know what it is. I really haven't focused in on Michigan State the last week, but they've got to figure it out because let me pull up the standings. They're fine because of their non-conference schedule, but they can't lose too many more of these. Michigan State is 9-8 in conference, 17-11. They're fine. Let me go to their resume. So Michigan State defensively is 16th in the country, according to Ken Palm, 41st in offense, 16th defense. That's pretty good. They don't turn the ball over much. And they don't really do anything outstanding defensively. They're just solid. But they lost to James Madison, which James Madison on paper looks like a tournament team. I don't know let's see what they've been doing. So James Madison is 61 and James Madison is 26-3. Appalachian State has had their number. They've lost to Appalachian State twice, but they've ripped off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They've ripped off 8 in a row, and it looks like they're going to win their last 2 games. So they're going to go into conference tournament looking pretty good. So that's not going to be a bad loss for Michigan State. Then they've got a loss to Duke. Their win against Butler is looking better and better because Butler is in an at-large conversation. Lost to Arizona, lost to Wisconsin, lost to Nebraska. All those are tournament teams. Beat a Baylor team that's a tournament team. Beat an Oakland team that will probably have to win their conference tournament to get in. Beat a very good Indiana State team, which is right now, one game ahead of Drake in the Missouri Valley Conference. That's a tournament team. Beat Penn State, lost to Illinois and Northwestern, and they've got a win against Illinois. So that's a quad one victory as well. So their resume is solid, but just don't feel very good about them right now. Struggling mightily. So we'll have to see how that works. Again, let me remind you guys, it's free, y'all. Go get that free money at bardostribe.com. Get your free copy of Triple Threat, Stephen Bardo's Guide to Basketball Terminology. I don't blow you up. Come to you about once a week via email newsletter. People seem to enjoy it because I try to give different input on there than I do here. So go there, or you can join the tribe via text, 312-847-2739. That's even different because that's all text. So whenever I'm on the road, I try to take a picture, or I try to get a picture of someone. I post it, or I give some of my thoughts. Sometimes when I'm watching a Illini game or a Purdue game, I'll start, sending messages to that group. So if you want to join the tribe via text, hit me at 312-847-2739 or get your free copy of Triple Threat, Stephen Bardo's Guide to Basketball Terminology. You will not be disappointed. All right. Woo, we got a lot of comments today, boy. Y'all were ready to get on here. Okay. What's up, Alan? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, that's all right, Carol. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Well, I talked about Illinois and Iowa game. I thought Iowa played well, but Illinois did exactly what they were supposed to do. Winning by 10 going down the stretch. Did you see on Big Ten Network social media they asked? Oh yeah. Yeah, I posted it. I think that's why you saw it, because I posted it. Yep. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and any kind of feedback you got, I'm all ears. So thank you for that. I appreciate you. I don't remember how much it. Okay. Yep. I think you're right, Carol. I even thought it was it he graduated in 83? Okay. Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. What's up, Kenny Kim? Good to see you. Yes. The inconsistency is a little strange. It's not quite as bad as Michigan State, though, Kenny. So I always try to look for a silver lining when you're talking about the Illini. They're still a top 10 team, one of the best offensive teams in the country. When they put it together, they're one of the best teams. And so, yes, they've been inconsistent, but you still got a lot to root for with the Illini and the fact that they're doing their thing. What's up, Curtis? Yeah, I do need to get some Bardo's breakdown gear. I tried that once, and I made a half-ass attempt at it. I'm going to do better this time. Get some really nice quality shirts and get a really nice logo. And I'll get it out. I'll get it out to you, tribe members. That was such a crazy loss to Penn State. Do you think the defense was better against Iowa? Ryan, actually, not really. Not really. I never saw them take anything that Iowa wanted to do away necessarily. Tony Perkins was cooking. Josh Dix got to his spots. The Illini just don't have the defensive makeup Terrence Shannon does. But even Tony Perkins, he was going at Terrence too. The Illini just collectively as a team just don't have a tough defensive mindset. They've got a tough rebounding mindset, and they'll come at you offensively, but defensively, I think they lack that dog. Now, Harmon is a dog defensively. Terrence Shannon is a dog. I'll give him that. I think Coleman's a tremendously talented defender in his versatility. But I don't know. I saw some things in the Iowa game that they could definitely shore up. So I'm not sure, Ryan. That's a good question. I don't think so, but I don't want to be too critical. That Penn State game gave me some as one of the great said it left that bitter. Hey, Quentin, I was no, it wasn't a bitter beer face look. It was that Home Alone look. I couldn't believe what was happening, and it was crazy that Penn State just kept coming. That big ups to Mike Rhodes and his coaching staff at Penn State. Those guys, they keep playing regardless of the score. They don't stop coming at you. They just keep coming. 36 seconds left, and you're down 7, and you keep coming. Testament that big ups to Penn State. That's a hell of a job and a hell of a finish. Justin Friesen. Michigan State has lost back-to-back home games. To me, as of now, they're outside looking in. No, their resume is still good. Let me go to the let me see if I can pull this up for you guys. So CBS, let me share my screen. Where is that CBS? All right. Please, guys, let me know if you can see this. I got a new keyboard. I do not know how to expand it. I wish I did to make it bigger. But as you can see right here where my cursor is circling, they've got Michigan State as a 9 seed. This is Jerry Palm, bracketology. He's not as popular as Joe Lunardi at ESPN, but he does really well. He and Mike DeCourcy. Mike DeCourcy does for Fox, and I don't necessarily pull his up, but Jerry Palm's came up. He's got Michigan State as a number 9 today, a number 9 seed in the East. That's not like 10, 12, 11, 16. 9 is they're still solidly in there among the bracketologists. So I hear what you're saying. I know it looks like they're on the outside looking in, but they're still very, very solidly in the at-large conversation. I know it sounds crazy, but the totality of their resume has them comfortably in. Yeah, he does a great job. Go to Illini Inquirer on YouTube, and Mike Latulip did a really good film breakdown. I really enjoyed it. Who baller scoop? The world's been begging Tom Izzo to play Booker, and he is not for most of the year. So did Izzo fall to the pressure of fans and media by starting him against Ohio State? They didn't play him the last 15 minutes of the game. Well, I don't think he fell to the media necessarily. Who baller scoop? I think that Xavier Booker has gained 20 pounds. So he's putting in some work. It's hard to gain 20 pounds during the season. And he's put on 20 pounds of weight. So that's a great sign that he's putting in the work in the weight room. And I think it's a way to reward the young man. And it's also a way to send a message to Mady Sissoko, Carson Cooper, and Jackson Kohler up front that, hey, I'm not really happy with you guys right now. And so I don't think it's a situation necessarily of Izzo giving in to the media. I think it's more of him trying to reward the young man for hard work. Kenny Kim, I know what you're hoping for, brother. It ain't going to happen. I am not going to be a college basketball coach. I do not want to get to February and look like I've aged 5 years. Not for me. What's up, Rick Johnson? All right. No real point guard, which is incorrect because they have Nicolo Moretti, and no mark shooters. They're painful to watch in close games. That Michigan State was said they look like they're going out second round tournament. Michigan State's struggling right now, but if anybody can get right ship, it's Izzo. Now, shooters, well, I don't want to guess. Let's go and take a look. You say they don't have any shooters on the team. So I consider 35% or better from three-point land to be a pretty good three-point shooter. Terrence Shannon's at 34.3%. Coleman Hawkins is shooting 39.7%. He's basically shooting 40% from three. Quincy Guerrier, believe it or not, he's shooting 35% from three. Luke Goody is shooting almost 39% from three. Nicolo Moretti hadn't taken a three until yesterday, and he's 100% from three. And whereas Domask is really, he's struggling. He's 26.5 from three. But you've got Hawkins at 40, Luke Goody's at 39%, Justin Harmon is at 36%, Guerrier's at 35%. That's four players on the Illini team that look pretty good to me. So I don't know what you mean by they don't have any shooters, but maybe they shoot too many. I definitely think that. That his game was outstanding. Coleman Hawkins had 30 points yesterday, but the game against Penn State was so bad. The finish. For me, it's gonna take a couple games to get that stuff out of my head. No, I'm being facetious, Doug. Coleman was great. 30 points. He did it efficiently, leading his team to victory. I thought he did a very good job. And, it was a game they needed to have because Iowa's been playing very well, and they handled them 95-85. And I want to see Coleman's 9 of 11 from the field. He only missed 2 shots, 3 of 5 from 3, 9 of 11 from the free throw line, 2 rebounds. He could do better than that. 5 assists, 5 steals, 5 turnovers. 5 turnovers, not good. 5 steals, 5 assists, 30 points per game. I'm sorry. Yeah, and 30 points on 9 of 11 shooting from the field. And then me and my Big Ten brother, Raphael Davis, are going back and forth on Twitter. He's giving his all-defensive team, and I said Coleman Hawkins Defensive Player of the Year. He almost lost his lunch. It was funny. Go on Twitter. You can see our back-and-forth conversation. But that's my guy. I love Raphael. So we were having a good time with that. Yes, Coleman was outstanding yesterday. Nico Moretti was excellent. Hansberry played well. I like when Underwood put the Harmon, Hansberry, Danger, Moretti, and was it Goody? I know Moretti and Harmon. Maybe it was Goody. Were Hansberry and Dane on the floor at the same time? Sometimes they were, sometimes they weren't. But I like those guys. I think they can all give good minutes. I think it doesn't have to be a lot, but I think so. Chad Alt, I don't agree, bro. I'm sorry. I want you to go back to the Penn State game in the second half. Every time whoever Luke Goody was guarding, they went at him. Nick Kern dropped Luke Goody off at the hole about 3 times. Then he switched out on Hicks. Hicks took him to the hole. He switched out on somebody else. They took him to the hole. Luke Goody's a defensive liability, ladies and gentlemen. They got to try to hide him. So his 13, 15 minutes a game is enough. I don't know if he's a very good rebounder. I'll give him that. He's a willing defender. It's just who do you put him on? Because you can't put him on a quick guy off the bounce. His foot speed's not good enough. You put him in the post. You saw what Malik Hall did to him down the stretch when the line weren't double teaming the post. So his defensive stuff, man, teams are really picking on him. So I don't know. I definitely don't think he's the key to the success. To me, the key to success is playing Moretti and playing Dane Danger. I think that offsets some of the things that hurt the Illini. That's just me. Do you think Ohio State has been playing better with the new coach so far? Hard to say, David. They've got some big wins. They won over Purdue. That was an emotional win, great win. Yesterday they win at Michigan State, tough place to play. They got to win. So they're definitely playing better because they're winning. But I don't know if it's a new coach or what. There's a lot of things that go on with that. Jake Debo's done an outstanding job, obviously, because they seem to be playing more inspired. But it could be that when players lose their coach, now you can't blame the coach. Now the fingers point to the players. And so I don't know. But good question, David. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. I was on the bubble. Nebraska. I thought Nebraska was in the last time I checked. Let's see. So Jerry Palm doesn't have. Man, let me go to Lenardi. Let me check out Lenardi and see who he's talking about. Where's bracketology? All right, here we go. I'm gonna share this with you guys. I'll share my screen so you guys can see this. Where is it? All right, let's share. And okay, here we go. Top overall seed, Purdue. First team out, Wake Forest. Last team in, Texas A&M. On the bubble, last 4 buys, Northwestern Nebraska are the last 4 buys. Last 4 in, no Big Ten teams. Seton Hall, Providence, Gonzaga, Texas A&M. First 4 out, Wake Forest, Ole Miss, Utah, and Butler. Next 4 out, Villanova, Drake, Cincinnati, Colorado. So Northwestern Nebraska right now, if Minnesota can win at Illinois, I believe they would start to be in this conversation here. Next 4 out. Cincinnati has been reeling. Villanova has been reeling. Colorado had a big win this last week. I can't remember. They had a pretty good win. And Drake has got to go into Arch Madness here soon because Missouri Valley Conference regular season schedule should wrap up this week, I believe. I think the end of the regular season. And so Drake, depending on who they have, is going to be interesting. So the teams that are in bubble talk right now, Northwestern Nebraska, are solidly in right now, according to Lenardi. He's got 6 Big Ten teams in: Purdue, Illinois, Wisconsin, Northwestern Nebraska, and Michigan State. Everybody else on the outside looking in. Iowa's starting to make a run, but they've lost. They lost to Illinois, so they're not in the conversation. But if they can win against Penn State at home, depending on what some of the other teams do, they could possibly get back in the conversation. So that is where it stands today, Curtis. Thank you for that. Lyle, it was loud. It wasn't as loud as maybe it wasn't as loud as the Palestra when Penn State played Michigan there early in the year. Man, that place was rocking. It wasn't that loud, but it was loud. It was a great atmosphere, and I hope they play at least 2 games there because the Bryce Jordan Center, where they play most of their games, was not built for college basketball. It's a concert venue. It's a big cavernous place, and it's hard to generate noise in there. Oh, Tarun Reddy comes up. Tarun, this is a great question. It's a lack of communication because the players like Shannon Hawkins are more concerned with their stats rather than the team. I don't think it's that, Tarun. I don't know what the lack of communication is because that breakdown that I saw from the Tulip, I would see guys switching, but they had taken a step or 2 with their man that they were supposed to switch off of. So a lot of times you saw 2 Illini defenders on one player because they didn't hear the call, or they're not responding quickly enough. Or to me, it's a communication thing, because if I'm saying switch like loud, you can hear it and you know the switch. You don't think about it, you just switch. But the Illini are in their defensive rotations. They're a step slow because they're trying to think about it. You can't think on defense. You got to have your calls set. When you see this, you do this. When you see this, do that. When you start to give 18 to 22-year-olds leeway to, okay, if you see this, you can go under or go over. Nah, you don't do that with college players. Now, like Rayfield Davis, he's arguing that Ace Baldwin Jr. is the defensive player of the year in the Big Ten. He very well may be. Great defender on ball. He doesn't hesitate. There's no hesitation in what he does defensively. He's going to attack you. He's going to play the passing lanes, but if he's supposed to switch, he switches. There's no indecision in what Ace Baldwin's doing. The Illini have indecision in their calls and what they're doing defensively on the perimeter. So great question, Tarun. I'm not quite. I think it's a communication thing, and I don't think it has anything to do with them thinking about their stats necessarily. I don't think that they communicate. They're not talking as well as they need to. Yeah, Chad, but you can't please everybody. Everybody's not going to be happy on a college basketball team. And if they hit the portal, they hit the portal. It's just that's today's game. I don't think that you can't try to win a Big Ten championship and try to appease certain guys to keep them from leaving. Just doesn't work like that. If Brad Underwood had more confidence in them, I think they play more minutes. But the coach has got to have confidence in the players that he's putting in his system. If he doesn't, they're just not going to play. And he's got his reasons. What they are, I know it's Dane on the defensive end, and he turns the ball over a lot because he gets it stripped. But probably the same for Lawhorn. Hoop Central. Bardo, your honest opinion on the coaching job Tom Izzo has done this year. Has the game passed him by? Why can't he inspire or lift his MSU team? They sometimes look like they finna go on a run, then they make 4 steps backwards. Hoop Central, what do I think of his opinion? What was my opinion of his coaching job this season? Well, let's take a look. Michigan State is 9-8 in conference play. They're 17-11. They were preseason number 4 in the country. So obviously they weren't the 4th best team in the country. They're in 1, 2, 3, 4. They're in 5th place right now in the Big Ten. They've lost 2 in a row. They're 13-4 at home, which is a little surprising. They're 3-5 on the road, which everybody in the Big Ten is sub 500 on the road, except for Purdue. They're 6-3. The Illini are 4-5 on the road. Everyone else is 3-7, 3-6. Nebraska's 2-7. Michigan State is 3-5. So among the top teams, Michigan State is right there in terms of road record. Home record, the top teams are much better. Illinois got 2 home losses. Wisconsin has 2 home losses. That's not in conference play. That's overall. So Illinois' home loss, Marquette, that's right, in Maryland. And then Wisconsin has lost at home to Tennessee. Let me check instead of guessing. Tennessee and Purdue. That's right, in a really good game. So his coaching job, maybe not his best. Definitely not his best. Has the game passing by? Certainly not. Why can't he inspire or lift this MSU team? All right, Hoops. I'm gonna give you something because you asked this question, and you guys coming from Michigan State are kind of going at Izzo a little bit. I get it. I understand. It's not what you've grown accustomed to. Lou Henson didn't inspire anybody to play basketball. That's not what he did. Coaches don't inspire guys to play. They threaten you with bench. So you either have intestinal fortitude to come out and play and be dominant, and the coach doesn't have anything to do with that. You have to have that as an individual player. You have to have the desire to win and dominate. If a coach has to motivate you, then the Big Ten level is too high for you. You're playing the elite of the elite. And elite players and elite teams don't need motivation from anyone. They just love the game so much that they come out and play inspired basketball. So if we were to look, let's go look at the box score, shall we? Of Michigan State, Ohio State yesterday. And let's talk about some inspiration here. Okay. Now, I'm gonna share it so we can look together. It's probably I'm gonna do it anyway. It might be too small for you guys to see, but I'm gonna do it anyway. All right. So now let's look at the box score. Yep, it's showing up there. All right. So Booker starts. He gets 17 minutes. He goes 3 of 6, 3 rebounds, 7 points, 3 blocks. Good outing for the freshman. Malik Hall been playing better of late. 5 of 9, 4 from free throw line, 7 rebounds, 15.7 rebounds. That's good output. Good output. Jay Nakins, 1 of 9, 0 of 3, 3 rebounds, 3 steals. That's good. 2 assists. No turnovers, 1 block. All right. But Jay Nakins, 1 of 9. Jay Nagin's been like the Dow Jones, y'all. Tyson Walker, 5 of 15, 1 of 6 from 3, 12 points. AJ Hogarth, 4 of 8, 9 points, 4 assists. Not bad, right? So they're okay numbers. But I don't know. Is that inspired basketball? Can Izzo go on the court and make shots for Jay Nakins? Can he get Madi Sissoko to catch hard passes in the post? Can he get some offensive production for Kohler and Cooper in the post? I don't think that's his job to inspire. Guys have to be ready to play, and they've got to perform. And if they don't, hopefully you got enough talent on your roster where you can sit people down like Illinois did yesterday. Sit them down. So that's what I think. Yep. I like Dane. I think he needs more time. Thanks, Gene. Appreciate you. Hold on. Why is this thing tweaking? All right. Ron, what's good, man? Big Ten tournament just based on Big Ten. First team to you. It's pretty much based on the regular season. First team All Big Ten. Zach Edey, Terrence Shannon Jr. I might have to throw AJ Storr in there. AJ Storr may make my list. Man, you see, Jameer Young. Why I was tripping on that. And Boo Booey. Boo Booey, Jameer Young, Zach Edey, Terrence Shannon Jr. Oh, I always do this. Who was the one I missed? Terrence Shannon Jr., Zach Edey, Boo Booey, Jameer Young. I said it, didn't I? Wait. Oh, I hate doing this. I'm trying to do too much. Let me do geographically. Nebraska, no. Iowa, no. Minnesota, no. Wisconsin. Oh, AJ Storr, Terrence Shannon Jr., Zach Edey, Boo Booey, and Jameer Young would be my preliminary All Big Ten team. Scoop Hoop, the locks are Purdue, Illinois, Wisconsin, Northwestern, Nebraska, and Michigan State. Those are the locks. And unless Iowa can start to make some headway a little bit, it's probably going to be those 6, unless something drastically happens. Chad, I disagree with you, partner. Go look at the ratings for women's basketball right now. I think you're incorrect. The WNBA's numbers have risen for the last 4 years. The college basketball game has really exploded with personalities like Sabrina Ionescu when she was in school, Paige Buckets, Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark. We've had some wonderful stories about women's basketball in college and them getting to the WNBA. So I disagree with you on that, Chad. And I love the women's game. So I totally disagree with you on that. Denise, why do you think Booker should have been in the game towards the end? Why do you think that? Was there because I didn't get a chance to see the game. I think I was either traveling or I was calling Maryland's Maryland's behind kicking of Rutgers. Was there something that was there a breakdown or something that Michigan State had that allowed Ohio State to get that last second shot? You're the second person that said Booker should have been on the floor at the end of the game. Anthony Diggs is kind of hard when you do that because you're either up or down, or if it's a close game, you're not going to get a lot of stoppages in play to do that. But I mean, they've tried to do that a few times, but we'll see what happens. It's the thing that I'm learning about this Illinois team, guys, is you're not going to see something consistent. It's going to change because the nature of the team is so unique that they have to change for the scenario. So I know that sounds weird, but they have to alter their lineups based on what they're trying to get done against what certain things opponents are doing to them. So yes, they could do that, and we've seen them try to do that down the stretch, but we'll see what happens. But thanks for tuning in, Anthony. Good to see you. Gene, well put. Thank you, sir. Rich, oh yeah, I've seen you, Rich. Bardo, you do women's hoops, and this kind of includes big. Where's Caitlin Clark and all the the best all-time college players? Rich, you got Cheryl Miller, Candace Parker, Diana Taurasi, Stewie, and Moore. Those are great names. But she's the leading scorer in NCAA history. I mean, and she's not playing on the best team in her conference. Ohio State's the best team in the Big Ten, and Indiana beat Iowa last week. So, I mean, Cheryl Miller was on a USC team that I think may have lost one game in the season. They won 3 titles. There was zero parity in college basketball then. Candace Parker at Tennessee, they were on a dominant run. That's when it was either UConn or Tennessee. There were no South Carolinas or, Stanford was in there too, but there wasn't a lot of parity in women's college basketball like there is today. The parity, Diana Taurasi, same thing. Stewie was in the more in this era. Moore was a little bit in the era that preceded the parity. So I'll give you Stewie. And maybe Diana Taurasi, maybe. But she's the leading scorer in women's NCAA history. She got to be considered, right? Oh, this is why Denise says this. Okay, Denise. She's saying that the guards' shots weren't falling, so she would like to have seen Booker in the offense. But was Booker scoring in the post, or was he scoring 3 of 6 shots that Booker took were from 3, Denise? He's not your traditional back to the basket guy. So he'd just been another guy shooting jumpers. Ebony Williams, I'm worried about. You should be. We get no offense from our bigs. Atkins and Hogard are inconsistent. Yes, they've been. I don't know if we're going to see Mr. Marsh this year. I'm praying, though. I tell you what, he's going to earn his paycheck this year, Imani, because this is a team that is really baffling. And I'm not sure he even has a hold on it. Mostly fraught game, particularly if you lost. You don't want to shake hands. Don, I couldn't say it better. There's no doubt, Eric. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for this. I appreciate it. Yes, it is Illini fly. It is usually at 5. I had to come on early because I've got some things I've got to handle in a few minutes. So I'm going to bust through these as quickly as I can because I've got to go. Let me get to somebody else. Joe Stovall. I haven't seen you in a while, partner. Good to see you on here. Why is it so hard to guard pick and roll? Because it's pick and roll. It's not like there's a lot of dominant bigs playing in college basketball today. It has nothing to do with the dominant college bigs, Joe. That's why pick and roll is the oldest offense in the game. Because when you physically put your body on an opponent and your teammate is running off your shoulder, you're going to have your teammate's going to have an advantage. It's just the physics of a pick and roll. That's why it's so hard to guard. That's why everybody does it. Because it's the hardest thing to cover in college basketball in the game, not just in college basketball, in the game. If a big and a guard know how to really work a pick and roll, it's almost unstoppable. There's something that's going to be open. The guard coming off the screen, if the big doesn't show high enough, they're going to be able to shoot or break the big off the bounce. If the big hedges hard and the guard doesn't pick up the roll, they don't tag the roll man, the roll man will get a catch at the bucket. If the roll man is tagged from a guy off help, the help defender comes and tags the big man rolling to the hole. Well, that shooter's wide open. If that guard is any good, they'll throw it right to that shooter and get an open shot. That's why the pick and roll is so hard to defend. Doesn't have anything to do with the dominance of the college bigs anymore. It's just the nature of the pick and roll gives you far more scenarios to break down a defense than otherwise. All right. He's got Marcus Damask over AJ Store. Okay, that's cool. I don't have any problem with that. Okay. Chuck heard that Gibbs Lawhorn was late for something, and that's why he was benched. That happens all the time. That happens all the time. All right, guys, that's going to do it. I hate to cut you guys short because there was a few other questions I wanted to get to, but thank you guys for joining the early edition of Bardo's Breakdown. This week, I will be at Minnesota at Illinois Wednesday, 6 p.m. Big Ten Network. Then I'm with Kevin Kugler at Omaha. I've got Marquette and Creighton on Westwood One Radio. So I'm really looking forward to that one. That's going to be a great matchup. So those are my 2 games this week. Tune in if you can. Enjoy the games this week. You guys have a safe and fun week. It's 65 degrees in Chicago today. It'll be 68 tomorrow. Please be safe. Love you all. And until next time, holla, y'all.